That's it, man. That's it. Look, Patrick Allvin, I love you, baby, but man, this Vancouver Canucks team, they're frauds. That's it, they're frauds. Okay, no, we're not gonna jump to any extremely irrational conclusions from this one game, but the Vancouver Canucks have lost again. They lose 4-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. This time, it wasn't a regulation choke where they inevitably lost in extra time like the Calgary and Philadelphia games. This time, they just straight up lose, and they are not the better team in this one. And that trend persisted for pretty much the entire game. Now, I'm going to say this. If you look at the Money Puck's deserve to win-o-meter, you'll see that Vancouver had a 62.2% chance of winning this game. And I'm going to say that's absolutely BS. Like, if you watched the game in its entirety, sure, if you mathematically added up all the scoring chances, Vancouver might have themselves 4.68 expected goals versus Tampa Bay's 3.5, therefore saying that the Vancouver Canucks should win. But if you take a look at this graph, I mean, the majority of Vancouver's offensive opportunities came in the span of about a minute, whatever it was, whilst they had a 4-on-3 power play. And the thing is, when the Canucks were on that 4-on-3 power play, they were piling up the chances, piling up the chances, piling up the chances. They didn't score until the very end when it expired and it became a regular 5-on-4 power play, and that's the Canucks' only goal of the game. My thought process is, sure, the Vancouver Canucks could have had expected goal after expected goal after expected goal whilst on a 4-on-3, but if they score on any of those expected goals during the 4-on-3, it's no longer a 4-on-3, thus invalidating the future expected goals they would have had. So if the Vancouver Canucks had one goal right away at the beginning of the 4-on-3 power play, then the other expected goal chances they had would not have happened because it wouldn't have been a power play anymore, and thus it wouldn't have added to their ridiculously high expected goal for percentage rate in this Money Puck game. That one individual 2-minute stint is why the Vancouver Canucks have a 60-something% chance of winning this game based off of the deserve to win-o-meter, because it misleads you into believing that Vancouver was continuously putting chances throughout the game, when really, the majority of their chances came on one power play. A power play that if they had scored on it, they would not have had the rest of the chances they got. You're only allowed to score once on a power play, unless it's a major, which this wasn't. It was just a regular 4-on-3 minor. So, either way, you know, you look at the numbers, you look at the expected goals. Oh, Vancouver was out chancing Tampa Bay. No, they weren't. The Tampa Bay Lightning were better. There was a tweet by Daniel Wagner after the first period where the Canucks were down 1-0, and the Lightning just had, like, chance after chance after chance, and Arturs Silovs stood in his head. Wags was like, hey, Tampa's flying out of the gate here in their first period. It's almost like they're playing as a team that has the weight of an entire region on their back. It's almost like they're trying to reinvigorate an entire part of the country. Because, of course, Tampa Bay, we saw this in the pregame. Hurricane Milton came over and really made things difficult for everybody over there. So to see the Lightning have the entire region's support, to have everybody standing by, cheering them on, and trying to push themselves to a spot where they can do well in this game, the first game back in their own building after this tragedy, it's like, okay, of course, they're going to come out swinging. And they come out with a 1-0 goal just 3 minutes into the game. It's an unfortunate turnover for Noah Juulsen as he falls down in the Canucks zone. Kucherov steals it over the point. Darren Radish across back to Kucherov, and it's in the back of the net, 1-0. Look, Noah Juulsen, buddy, I love what you're capable of. He can move. He can hit. He's a big guy. But wow, did he have a bad game in this one. My gosh. He fell down, obviously, to set up this first Kucherov goal. There was another point later in the game where Juulsen chased another hit as the Tampa Bay guys were coming down for a rush, putting himself out of the play, and then just some other mistakes in his own zone, other coughed-up giveaways resulted in more Tampa Bay Lightning opportunities. Thankfully, only one of them went in. That was the Kucherov 1-0 goal. But like, Noah Juulsen, I thought, stood out in a really, really negative way in this game. Some of the other D-men on the Vancouver Canucks did not do well either. We'll get into that more as the video goes on. But the first period was all Tampa. They had full pressure going on in the O-zone. Silovs had to make a whole bunch of saves. And then the Canucks on the power play made things interesting when Elias Pettersson started hesitating again on his shots. This guy had a few really good looks at the net, and instead of shooting it, he decides to defer back to Hughes. He tries to go across the crease. Like, I don't know what's going on, man. He's got to be hurt. He's got to be injured. There's got to be something wrong with that wrist. His inability to decide to put the puck on goal, it's baffling to me. I get it, you could say the philosophy, oh, he held onto the puck, and then he drew the other players in. He drew the 4 Tampa Bay guys to checking his lane, which opened up Quinn Hughes, which is why he passed it back to Hughes. Like, there's a philosophy there for sure, but it's just so common nowadays. Even on the short-handed rush that Pettersson had, where he had like a 2-on-1 coming down short-handed, and instead of ripping a shot on goal like we know he can, he just decides to lightly backhand it into the blue paint, and Vasilevskiy just quickly steers it aside. Ay, we're still talking about the first period, eh? Second period starts, and the Canucks have an opportunity to make it 1-1. It's Ratu. He gets a breakaway, and he messes it up. He ends up letting the puck slide off of his stick into the corner. Not great. Canucks also on power plays in the second period. I noticed JT Miller, he did not have a great game offensively either. I felt that a lot of his plays in front were just kind of to nobody. There were a few giveaways and passes that went to just the wrong people on the ice or outside of the zone that I really was wary of from JT. He got an assist in the Garland goal, yes, but continuing on here. The Lightning make it 2-0 after Jake Guentzel comes down the right wing. Tyler Myers does not challenge him, so Guentzel has free rein to throw it back over for Brayden Point on the one-timer, and he fires it in. Easy. Carson Soucy also lost his check. Point was all alone on that one-time opportunity. You can say that it's on Silovs for not stopping that blast of a shot, but at the same time, the 2 D-men in front of him were not checking their guys hard enough. And it's 2-0. End of the second, Conor Garland has an opportunity to score. He ends up walking around Andrei Vasilevskiy, but he hits the post on the wrap. The puck goes through the crease immediately afterwards. And then you also had JT Miller throwing it in front for Brock Besser on a tip, but that was also stopped by Andrei Vasilevskiy. I will say Vasi had a strong game. It wasn't as flashy as some of the other games he has had in the past, but he definitely made some really difficult stops and made them look easy. Just really solid, sound, positional goaltending. He stopped Quinn Hughes multiple times in really good fashion. Hughes, I thought, had a great game. He was controlling the play. He was walking in. He was taking shots. He was going up high. He was making really good things happen, but Vasilevskiy just stuck with him. He was tightening himself up to the post. He was getting Hughes shots with the knob of his stick. Vasi was very solid here. Third period starts, and this is where the game kind of gets out of hand because Anthony Cirelli ends up scoring right away, centering pass in front, and Myers does not have him checked. That's 2 goals where you could say Myers played a pretty good part in the goals going in. 3-0 Tampa Bay, and at this point, I'm kind of thinking to myself, what exactly is this video title going to be? Because it's not looking good. It's doom and gloom for Canucks fans all over social media. You know what? That's it. Doom and gloom. We'll go with that. However, it's not all doom and gloom, because the Vancouver Canucks eventually do bounce back. Höglander got robbed in front by himself by Vasilevskiy. A 4-on-4 was the result after some penalties. And then you had yourselves Elias Pettersson, who got tripped by Chernak. 4-on-3. This is where we talked about the Canucks amping up the pressure. They were so good on this 4-on-3, and they got like all of their high-danger scoring opportunities in the entire game. In this 1-2-minute segment, they eventually score. Finally. Miller takes a shot, it's tipped on goal by Besser, and the rebound is right there behind Vasilevskiy, and Garland walks right through the crease, puts it in, 3-1. Okay. The Canucks then shortened their bench. You saw Jake DeBrusk going out there, you saw Höglander going out there, you saw different lines. Archdeep Baines wasn't played anymore, nor was Ratu. DeBrusk had himself a double minor after he made Zemgus Girgensons bleed, but the Canucks killed it all, which was really impressive. Eyssimont then scored quickly after by walking out in front from behind the goal line, but then the goal was overturned because Eyssimont put the puck in Silovs' pads and then used his stick to push Silovs' pads into the goal. Goalie interference, Canucks challenge, easy. The Vancouver Canucks then go to the empty net, and they're not able to convert. Miller tries to play it back, and it gets turned over. Brandon Hagel comes right in. He scores. So 4-1 is the final decision here as Tampa defeats Vancouver in convincing fashion. The deserve to win a meter on Money Puck will have you believing different. Oh, the Canucks outchanced the Lightning. Yeah, because they had the majority of their chances in one power play. If you score on that power play, the other chances on that power play will not exist, so it's not worth it to think about like that. The Lightning were the better team. They won. Whatever. The Canucks are down. They're 0-1-2 to start off the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99. And Bye.